Good evening, this is Anime News. I am your host Rich, and today we'll be discussing...
Rich, what are you doing? Get out of my chair!
But Yemi, Overhyped Anime is a serious topic. Surely I should be the one to...
I don't care. I didn't say you could be here.
Are you sure? I'm prepared. I can do this. I've got the notes and everything.
I don't care. Out of my chair and back in the wardrobe.
Okay. Sorry about Rich there, guys. I usually keep him under more control. He's usually supposed to stay in the wardrobe, but he managed to get out and get onto camera. So, anyway, forgetting that, it's time for today's video.
1, 2, 3
What up, guys? OraMagi here. And a couple of days ago, over on my Twitter, at OraMagi, what are you doing if you're not following me? I asked, what should I record for my next video? Something lighthearted, like an otaku haul to show off all the glorious weeb stuff I own, or something a bit more thought-provoking and serious, like a topic discussion. And as you can tell by the video title, I went for the thought-provoking topic discussion. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the topic, I guess, of overhyped anime. Something that's somewhat relevant because with every new season, there's a new anime that release, and some of those anime, there's already a community behind them that's hyping up the anime adaptation, like, oh my god, yo, this show's gonna be sick! And things like that. So I wanted to bring that to my channel and just go for a brief discussion with you guys. So as with any discussion, it's important to define key terms. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be defining overhyped anime as any anime that has yet to air or is currently airing and has got a load of like community support, a loads of like popularity behind it. It's like before it starts airing, you've got people already going, okay, Leo, this is going to be sick. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be sick, and things like that. So examples of that from previous seasons would be things like Sword Art Online and One Punch Man, and for this season, shows like Re:Zero and Shokugeki no Soma Season 2. So since it's discussion and not just like, I guess, rambling or something like that, I'm going to be putting forward both sides of the argument. It's important to always do that. So we're going to be starting off with the pros. It's important to start off with the good stuff. Overhyped anime isn't a bad thing. It can be so fun to be swept up in the euphoria with Re:Zero, again, using that same example. Every episode is just, it's an event. It is a community event and it's amazing to be a part of. Every Sunday at 18:35, when a new episode releases, everyone's just there like, oh my god, I can't wait to see if Subaru dies or something. It's great, especially if like you're a new anime fan. It is great to like go into discussion threads after watching the new episode and just being like, damn, this shit is sick, yo! There's loads of boons and benefits and buffs that overhyping an anime can give, especially if it meets the standards that the community has set for it. For example, again, using Re:Zero, sue me. The series hasn't even finished airing, but I'm sure that there's shit tons of light novel and manga sales. I've seen those everywhere on Twitter. I'm sure I'll be surprised if there's not like an OST release and character songs. There's already been a visual novel announced. It's great, isn't it? It's great to know that for a series that's been overhyped and it's meeting expectations, that you know there's going to be more ways for you to keep enjoying that series, whether it is from merchandise like, you know, clothes, OSTs and games, or from increased source material sales. I'm not a source material reader, I'm not currently reading Re:Zero, I probably will, but I imagine there's going to be more content for a season 2. Like, with how popular this show is, when there's enough content, I guarantee that there will be a season 2 of Re:Zero, and if there's not, then there will be riots. Just for the sake of diversity and not using Re:Zero as all of my supporting evidence, another example is Konosuba. Whilst Konosuba was airing, there was so much fan art. I could say there was an explosion of fan art. Apart from like fan art and things like that, if an overhyped anime has met expectations set to it by the community, then a second season is usually on the lines. I believe a second season of Konosuba was slated for winter 2017, like right after the first season ended. As soon as the first season ended, bang! Hitting them with the second season. Konosuba is the kind of show I enjoy, so I'm sure when I watch that, I'm gonna be there like... And going back to Re:Zero, just because it's a show that I'm currently up to date on and it's the best example that I can use because I know exactly what's going on. Fan art. And that's pretty much all the pros I've got for overhyped anime, but it wouldn't be a fair discussion if I didn't present the other side of the argument. As with all good, there is bad. So here now are the cons of Overhyped Anime. So of course it's not just the first increment of a series that is subject to overhype. If the initial series, say for example Tokyo Ghoul, personally for me I really enjoyed season 1 of Tokyo Ghoul, and when I heard that Route A was being adapted into an anime, I was like, fuck yeah! But I'm sure as many Tokyo Ghoul fans will admit, painstakingly or not, season 2 was a massive disappointment. I personally think it was super hype. I wanted to see what Kaneki would get up to. He'd fully embraced his ghoul nature and shit like that was going down. Angry Tree was fucking shit up. I was so excited for Tokyo Ghoul today, and then it aired and I was just left like, the fucking keyboard, that was what they spent the animation budget on, and then Toka just running for like 2 episodes, like what? There's more examples like that. Tokyo Ghoul Route isn't the only one. Take for example, series that aren't based on source material. It's hard for them to generate overhype. There's only a certain few factors that can generate overhype for an original series. Take for example aldnoah.zero by A1 Pictures and Troika. Since it's an original series, there's no source material for people to be like, oh yeah, I've read this and this is pretty fucking good. The only thing that can possibly generate overhype is the studio. If it's a reputable studio behind it, like A1 Pictures, then people might be excited for that. If certain voice actors like Kensho Ono, who was featured in aldnoah.zero, maybe fans of him will be like, oh, okay, my favorite voice actor is in a new role, let's go and watch that. Or things like, you know, directors or OSTs. Things like that are the only things that can serve to possibly generate overhype for a series with no source material. And if it's good, hype starts building. And now for aldnoah.zero, I know there are loads of people on the fence with this. I constantly get into arguments with friends about, you know, slaying the Inaho and shit like that. Don't you dare start an argument with me in the comments if you're a fucking Slayin fanboy. I will end you. But anyway, so continuing with aldnoah.zero as my example to demonstrate the cons of overhyped anime, I know loads of people really liked the ending of aldnoah.zero because it was really different. It was like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened! I personally was one of the few people who was like, oh god, please no, oh god, please no. And then when season 2 aired, when the first episode of season 2 aired, the amount of people I saw complaining about how it absolutely retconned everything. Personally for me, I was like, yes, that happened, because I was so damn sad at the end of the first season. So I know that I imagine the popularity for that just absolutely tanked. As for the rest of the series, like aldnoah.zero season 2 was kind of meh. You know, I think the main thing that kept people gripped and hyped was the unique way I think that season 1 ended, and then when season 2 continued, they completely threw season 1 in the bin, pretty much. Loads of people stopped watching it, popularity dropped. I know that there is a manga, I believe, in print of aldnoah.zero, but I don't know how many copies that's selling. I don't know if it's any popular. When I was talking to people about it, they said that they were disappointed by the second season of aldnoah.zero, that they were expecting so much more. And there's kind of a middle ground though, in terms of the cons for overhyped anime. Series such as Tokyo Ghoul, going back to that for a minute, when the first season finished, and that was all well and good, and the second season aired, pretty much everyone said the second season was goddamn awful. And I'm one of those. I hated the second season of Tokyo Ghoul. It is my lowest ranked anime on my anime list. That's saying something. But kind of a silver lining, kind of a benefit of that, is that manga sales probably may have steadily increased, because every time I see someone mention Tokyo Ghoul Route A, it is usually followed by a comment saying, just read the manga. Dude, just read the manga, dude. Save yourself the trouble. So maybe that prompts people to go and buy the manga and start reading it, and to, you know, steadily increase sales. So even though the initial series, the anime series itself, fell prey to overhype, something else is benefiting from it. But the fact that communities can be left disappointed by overhyped anime usually does suck. Like in the pro section, when I was mentioning the absolute euphoria of how good it can be to swept up in an overhyped anime that delivers, see One Punch Man or Re:Zero. On the other side of the coin, when it doesn't deliver, everyone's just there, kind of left sad and moping around and just complaining that it didn't meet their expectations because they set super high expectations. Obviously that can be remedied by not setting super high expectations, but that's no fun. It's fun to set high expectations, and when it meets it, be like, yeah! It's super fun. My last point really for the cons of overhyped anime is that lesser known, potentially better series get overshadowed by overhyped anime. So for example, I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Kuroko no Basuke, But when part 2 of Star Wars Crusaders aired and season 3 of Kuroko no Basuke aired in the same season, my hype for those, my hype levels went through the goddamn roof. I didn't want to pay attention to any other series. I just wanted to sit there and watch those for the rest of my life. But it does mean that my attention is drained away from potentially other more well-deserving series. Now, I'm not saying that JoJo and Kuroko no Basuke and popular anime in general are bad because they do this, but I'm just saying that it's a downside, it's a con of overhyped / popular anime. For example, in that same season where part 2 of Star Wars Crusaders was airing and season 3 of Kuroko no Basuke, something else that was airing, Association Classroom. Now I know that was somewhat popular, but maybe it's not as popular as it could have been because of those other 2 anime and more that were airing at the same time. Another example from a more recent season, JoJo Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable. Something else that was airing during that season was Sakamoto Desuga, a really light-hearted, funny comedy that I don't know if many people watch just because shows like JoJo were airing. Now, I know that you can say, right, well, that's not the community, that's not our fault for overhyping it, it's just the fact that source material perhaps wasn't as popular, and that is a very fair point. I'm not going to take that away from you. So to keep the point more recent, here's something to think about. If I were to say to you, as an anime watcher, Subaru. If I said nothing else, if I knew that you watch anime, and I said Subaru, I would bet any money that I had that the first things to come to your mind were either our good old friend Safaru or the car model. But how many of you watching this video would have thought of the main character of This Art Club Has a Problem? His name is also Subaru. That is a series I know a few people who are watching that are saying, yo, this series is great, it's so feel good, it's full of fucking 2D waifu memes. Why are not more people watching it? Because the other Subaru is completely dominating the field. Re:Zero is so insanely popular, it is not an understatement to call Re:Zero the anime of the summer. I mean, obviously for good reason, but just think about that for a minute. And just to conclude, I'm going to give you my opinion on the matter. It is fun to get swept up in hype, don't get me wrong. I personally have done that on many an occasion for shows like Re:Zero, like One Punch Man, like Shokugeki no Soma Season 2, but I have been let down before, with things like Tokyo Ghoul Route A. I'm not going to say that overhyped anime is a bad thing, it is great, but I just want to say that, don't forget about the other series out there, and expand your horizon, some shit like that. I don't fucking know, I just like watching anime. But anyway, that's my point on the matter. I'll leave it up to you. If you want to discuss this more, you can discuss it down in the comments or over on Twitter at OraMagi. I'll put a link here or a link in the description. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more anime related content, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
おやすみ。
In the